You are listening to the Delay and Pray podcast, episode number 179.
Welcome to the Delay and Pray podcast, where certified Catholic and weight loss coach Beth Bubick teaches you how to permanently lose weight through spiritual fasting. Get ready to gain faith and lose weight through a joyful transformation of both body and soul. Now, your host, Beth, the Catholic fasting coach.
Hey, welcome back to the podcast, everyone. It is a wonderful day, and today's episode is something really special. This is a Q&A session we filmed last week as part of a two-part series of a webinar for women considering the Delay and Pray group coaching experience. And it was so amazing. It was just too good not to share more broadly on the podcast, so I decided to go ahead and put it out there to everyone. You are going to hear in this podcast a real honest conversation between myself and two of my most beloved clients, Teresa and Julie. Their insights, their honesty, and their determination to reach their goals through spiritual fasting are incredibly powerful, and you need to listen to this. Together, they have lost 105 pounds so far, and they are still going. This is amazing. No drugs or quick fixes. Just common sense, a lot of hard work, and Jesus. I want you to pay close attention to the coaching moments throughout, and especially toward the end when we talk about the investment, because there is a lot of wisdom there that goes way beyond money and gets right to the heart of commitment and transformation. And that's what we're into here at the Catholic Fasting Coach. We delay and pray and we transform with the help of Jesus Christ. So, if you've ever wondered what delay and pray work really looks like in real life, or you just need some inspiration to get back on it or continue, this conversation is for you, and it is going to give you a real clear picture of everything. So again, happy Easter. We're in the season, and enjoy.
All right. My name's Teresa Donay. I live in Minnesota, central Minnesota exactly. I am very, very grateful to Delay and Pray and Beth for this journey that I've been on for 15 months or so, a little bit more than that now. I gifted myself Beth's Delay and Pray book for Christmas in 2024, and I was so drawn to her mission of spiritual fasting and how that can impact your life. I heard about her on Drew Mariani, and then I listened to a few podcasts, and I was very much drawn in by the podcasts and the fact that there was a live coaching program. So it was right after Christmas, and I decided there was the Holy Spirit moving and calling me to this. And I had struggled with attachment to food and weight for many years. And part of the reason was I came from a family that is majorly struggles with overeating. I have a very morbidly obese father, and my family has that genetically. And then just the environment I grew up in with food is celebration, food is fun, food is comfort, all the things that we can struggle with and get tempted in. And then I was very blessed to have a very virtuous husband come into my life, and I have been blessed with one after another child, and I now have 10 children and 2 grandchildren. And so all those pregnancies and life in general caught up with me when I didn't get the weight off, when I kept pouring myself out to my family, and super grateful for all that. I wouldn't take any of it back, but I did start to realize that I wasn't taking care of myself. And while I was spiritually really involved in Bible study, and I helped start a Catholic high school, and I was volunteering, and I'm actually a nurse as well. I have been an oncology nurse, and now I'm a dialysis nurse, and I work at a hospital 2 days a week now that my kids are all in school. But I never got rid of the nursing and compassionate care for others again. So I was giving myself out, and I wasn't really taking care of myself. So that being said, I started the coaching program. I decided to give it a try. It was one of those one last ditch efforts. I've tried everything else. Is there really hope that I could ever lose weight and keep it off? And I decided to put my Christmas money towards it. I felt like this is something that is a good investment in myself. My husband was doing Exodus 90 at the time, so we both had the mindset of like fasting and eating in a more of a keto fashion was very much a way that we could support each other together. He always wanted me to lose some of my weight, and so I did that. I was able to slowly shed pounds as I worked through all the beautiful things that Beth talks about in her coaching program. I just ate up the journaling. I ate up the wonderful program that she puts together with all the different modules and lessons. I listened to every podcast. I listened to old podcasts. I was on every single Zoom call. I was following up what all the Facebook people were doing. I really did pour myself into it, and I started to reap the fruit, like, almost immediately. It was Lent, and then it was summer, and then it was fall, and I ended up month after month weighing myself, daily, but not getting over focused on the weight. I really did see miracles through the spiritual fasting as well. And it was so inspiring. Like, one thing led to the next. And then I was able to meet my goal. I lost 65 pounds by September. So it was 9 months of a journey. I never let the discouragement overcome me. It was very much up and down journey, like Beth and everybody would know. That's human life. That's our human nature. And I really do believe in this program. I know that God is working through this, and really, because of the spiritual fruit that I've gotten and seen in my life, I now am very dependent on weekly confession. Like, I never would have done that before. Like, I would go every month or two, but now I'm like, this is just, I'm so dependent on the Lord and the Holy Spirit and my morning prayer time. I used to be a night owl, and now I'm up, because of my body rhythms and how I'm functioning now. I'm so grateful for my prayer time in the morning and dependent on that, and the scripture and the journaling and the community. So super grateful. I hope I covered what you wanted, Beth. If there's
Yeah.
anything that I didn't, please have me focus in on that. But I am, again, grateful for the weight loss and for the miracles I've seen, and the energy and the joy that this brings me, and also the physical health. Like, I just went on the Camino with my daughter. I walk like 20 miles a day. I don't know how. I mean, never would have been able to do that, 65 pounds heavier. I just am so super grateful. So,
Love
again,
it.
physical,
Yeah.
spiritual, emotional benefits are, like, beyond awesome. So, yes,
Oh,
thank
and
you.
what about, oh, Teresa, it's been so much fun watching your journey and seeing you go, so far. A lot of the clients have a goal of walking the Camino. That's what Bev did. Age of
Oh,
83, Bev, our retired doctor who wanted to,
that's
whose
awesome.
whose goal it was to walk that with her 3 adult sons. And she did it, and we were praying for knees at one time. I think it was before you. Christine, do you remember that? We were praying for knees because it was her knee, and she was able to make it, I think, 20 miles, not the whole 60 some with her sons, but she
Right,
yeah.
right,
But it
right.
was so beautiful, so that is something. I think also when you did a podcast with me a while back, I think the sweetest thing was your daughter. She commented, "That's my mama. That's my mama." Do you remember
Oh,
that? That's so sweet.
it's
So
crazy. I have drawn my kids into it. It's really beautiful. My family is all eating better. Like, we are, like, meat and vegetables for dinner, and, like, nobody misses the rice and the potato. I mean, we do it for a
oh,
celebration and
yeah.
whatnot. I do wanna just throw out, I do have an intention, just like Bev said. The reason I mention it is because of the point of resilience and how the new Chapey comes in, and how we need to, like, you reach discouragement and it gets you through. Last month, just over a month ago, while I was actually on the Camino, my husband was home and we had a house fire. And it has been a little bit displacing, I guess I would say. It's been really crazy. I'm actually living in a rental right now. I don't know where I'm going to live in 2 weeks. God just has pulled the rug out. And it's really amazing how this journey of delay and pray. I mean, I struggled for a couple weeks where I had so much coming at me that it was so hard to stay on top of taking care of myself. But once I kind of slid just a little bit, I gained like 10, 12, 15 pounds. I'm like, whoa, okay, I get it. I know what's going on. Hello, hello, go back to the principles, go back to the principles. And right away, I was able to get back and say, okay, no, I am not giving up. I'm not going to go back there. And despite all the stress and the real stuff I have going on that I have to manage, I'm back. No, I have to do my daily exercise. I have to stay with my intermittent fasting. And it's so refreshing to have that back. Like, the minute you start to, like, get tempted away from it, there's just this peace, this inner peace that comes when you are taking care and putting food in the proper place of your life, and you are not using it for comfort. You're going to the Lord when that's where you're truly going to get your nourishment and your strength and your energy.
Well, we will pray. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
We
Thank
pray
you.
and fast. I'm actually on a 3-day fast right now for a special intention because my daughter's getting married. So I will tuck you.
Please do for
You're
housing, figuring that out. It's very
absolutely.
stressful.
I certainly will. And
Thank you.
and listen, before Julie goes, because she's next, that was so beautiful. I do want to share. I'm going to just go ahead and share this graphic that I found online. And please, everyone, I'm so sorry. I took a screenshot of this. It's from Instagram, and I don't have a shout out to the person who literally created the graphic. So I apologize for that right up front. If you're watching this and you're like, why did you, because I did not do this. But everyone watching and with Teresa's comment, you have to understand that as human beings, we really want everything to be like this. This is how we want it to be. We set a goal and we achieve it. And we want it yesterday. We want it done and we want God's timing to be our timing. But Second Peter 3:9 says that God's timing is perfect. It's perfect because he needs us to learn something on the journey. St. Catherine of Siena says that we cannot be perfected if we quit. So the only way to be perfected is in perseverance. The only way to have perseverance is to fail and get back up. So Teresa's been with us 15 months and she has lost all of this weight, this 65 pounds. But listen, if you join the course and listen to her being coached on her son, her husband. I mean, tears. I mean, it's like it's way deeper. So, spiritual fasting, the way that I have to get clients in is talk about weight loss because that's what women really want. Like, we really do. We want to be beautiful. We were made to be beautiful and we want to lose the weight and get healthy. We don't want to carry around all this extra weight. So, that gets people's eyes on this program. But it is really a side effect of a more beautiful thing, which is just this life with Jesus. He wants us to be healthy at a good, healthy weight. Okay, so what delay and pray looks like and why I think coaching is so, just incredible. And this is what I got coached this morning. I'm like, what? I got with this young Catholic girl that I get coached with every once in a while. And she's been sick. So we haven't been coaching for a while, but she has a special charism that is amazing. And anyway, so I got coached this morning. So I'm on fire. So basically, here's what delay and pray really is. And you set this goal, you plan it, you're like, yes, and then you overthink it. We talk about overthinking in this extremes, like, I'm all, I'm nothing, I'm all, I'm nothing. And then you start to learn and then you can sort of procrastinate a little bit. This might not be exactly yours, but it's different for everyone. You get back on track. You start to doubt a little bit about yourself because you are so used to looking at the scale. The scale doesn't tell the whole picture. It's just a little bit of a weather vane to tell you how you're doing on your fasting, but it's just data. And it's not exactly going to tell you, especially if you're lifting weights or something like that. It's not going to tell you exactly, but it's a good indication. I mean, 65 pounds is 65 pounds. Then you start to have courage. We talk about the feelings of commitment, of courage, and then you get to capability. You have to go through commitment and then fail and then courage and then capability. And you do a little failing, you learn from your failure, you start to feel stuck, then you get it all back again, and then you iterate all the way to the beginning. And it starts to look like the top, but you have to go through the bottom in order to get to the top. And it's the Catholic coaching and the tools that are going to help you to get something more streamlined, more balanced like the top. So anyway, that's all I wanted to kind of show you. This is why coaching is so important. This is why it's just something that is something to think about as you're going through this. So Julie, introduce yourself and tell me what your path looked like.
Well, my name is Julie Balmer, and I'm looking at this graphic that you put up, and that could not be better. That is exactly how I think my trajectory looks. Maybe not as loopy, but
Yes.
this is really helpful because in all of the times that I have tried to lose weight before, and that's what brought me in, was I had Googled Catholic weight loss and then came upon your podcast is that every time I would get to the bottom of one of those loops, like the overthinking, the procrastinating, and experience failure, in all the typical ways that people do, Weight Watchers, Overeaters Anonymous, various diets, that's when I would quit because I would go down and think, what am I doing? I'm never going to succeed. This is a hopeless battle that I will never be able to to win. And so I related to what Teresa said in that I come from bad genetics weight-wise. Both of my parents were overweight. Both of my older brothers were morbidly obese. And I've mentioned this before to Beth that then when I got to meet even cousins who lived in Missouri and Kansas that I'd never met before, they were massively obese people. And I began struggling with my weight in earnest after I gave birth to my third child. And I just could never, ever stay on a plan. It felt like I'd heard this analogy before. You can sit on a beach ball in water or sit on a balloon in water for a good long time if you're careful. But eventually you have to get off of that and it comes, you fall off of that. And that's kind of how I felt like my journey was, is I could white knuckle whatever program I was on for a time, usually enough to lose 20 pounds or so, but I could never sustain it. And I now know, I could just go on and on. I'm trying to think of how to streamline what I'm going to share, but I now know from Beth's program what insulin resistance really is, because I have an official diagnosis of insulin resistance. And I have been at times up to 100 pounds overweight. When I started the program, I would say I was about 80 pounds overweight, and I've lost 40 since I began listening to Beth's podcast last summer. And then I joined her cohort in October. So I'm about halfway there. And I learned things. You become a professional dieter and you think you know everything, even though you're not applying it. I learned things in Beth's program that age 68, I'm almost 69, that I have never heard before. Ways to change the way you're thinking about food and weight loss, ways to strengthen the neural pathways in your brain. This has been huge for me. I never knew that I could just decide to think differently over and over and over, and that it could mean something different in my brain, my neuroplasticity, and that it could change my everyday life. And that is truly what I have found. So the tools that I've learned have been kind of mind-blowing. I'm so grateful. I can go into more of those if you want later. But I, like Teresa, decided, what do I have to lose? Everything else has not worked for me. I have all of my genetics against me. But when I learned about what Beth calls the why that makes you cry, that struck a deep nerve with me. So as I've learned how to fast and pray, I have had 12 grandchildren and I have 3 adult daughters. And like all of you, the needs in our families are great. And we have so many dreams for our children and our grandchildren and our world that need our prayers. And I always wanted to fast and pray as a Christian. That was always a deep desire of mine. But I always thought, well, I'm an overweight person, so I can't successfully fast and pray. Well, I have learned how to successfully fast and pray with God's grace. I do not claim any power on my own. It has been a grace from Him, but brought through this program. And so it has been so miraculous in so many ways. And the why that makes you cry is what Beth challenges us to. Anytime we feel discomfort from not eating, of which there's a lot of, anytime we feel cravings, of which there are a lot, especially if you have been used to eating sugar and flour and alcohol for some people, those are huge things that at first you have to overcome. But when I was taught that I could offer that up, and I'm a new Catholic, I converted in June, that I could offer up my grandson Cullen's struggles as I suffer. It's small suffering compared to what some people are going through, but offer that to the Lord and endure that discomfort and that suffering and pray instead. That kind of changed everything for me, because I tried to do that for myself before. And Beth, I've heard you say you tried to fast for yourself and didn't work. And I totally relate to that. That has given me purpose and more prayer time and certainly a lot less eating than I ever used to do. I cannot believe that I don't crave sugar, that I don't crave white flour. I mean, the things I'm experiencing are new and miraculous and beautiful. So, this I know will be the last thing I ever do to deal with the weight issues that I've had. And I'm on my way down, and I'm very grateful.
Oh, Julie, thank you so much. You have been a joy. We just dropped a podcast, I believe it was last week or the week before, maybe a couple weeks ago. And if you guys haven't heard that are, on this webinar, please go and listen to that. Teresa has one as well. But a big thing that we say always is Nunc Chapi. This is Nunc Chapi. This is begin again in gentle repentance. And the thing is, the evil one wants us to, even when we fail, sit in discouragement so we won't go back up to the upper loop. And we say to him 1,000 times a day, I begin again in gentle repentance. This is not about the scale. It's about getting closer to God. And once you do that, that scale will go down. But it takes a minute to flip your brain into thinking differently. And so that Julie said it the best, and Teresa too, that is part of just getting through the material and all of that. And this is the start to a whole new life. This is a 10-week kickstart. I call it like a boot camp. It's to get you going, and then you come over into the K-Fam and you can stay forever. It's worth it, and that's a lifetime thing. So thank you guys. I just, really, really appreciate that. So tell me, do you have any, and I have some, do you have any tips for everyone here that's on the webinar on basically how we turn our cravings into prayer? And let me give you an example. So, coming off of this Easter octave, and here in the program, we talk a lot about all the Catholic things, especially the Catholic Church year. And so, we really figure out your eat days, your fast days, your feast days, what that means, what solemnity means, what beautiful high feast day in the church year means. And then, of course, the Easter octaves and the Christmas octave. Okay, so we talk about that. So, we're coming off the Easter octave, and I was out of town. I was with my daughters. I did pretty well, but it's amazing. I did have some pretzels. I mean, I didn't have like a big ice cream or anything like that. I didn't have a big swath of sugar or white flour, but I'm not drinking alcohol anymore. But I could feel it like this week, and we're on Wednesday. So, my tip for all of you coming off of the sugar is to have no sugar in your house if you can. If you can kick it to the curb, especially what you love. So if you love pretzels, if you love M&Ms, definitely kick those to the curb, throw those out. And if you have a spouse or a child that loves those, they're going to have to eat those out. You say, pick those up on your way home, pick up a little baggie for you. Do not bring those home. It's like bringing home something that's a drug or something. Okay, goodbye. And then what you do is you get like a beef stick or some nuts. And if you have to snack, you go for the beef stick or the nuts. And what you're looking for, remember, what you're looking for is not to be satisfied. Because when you want a donut or you want to stop at Culver's and get some custard and you have a beef stick instead, your brain and your biology is going to be like, that's a bummer. That's a waste of eating. Like, that's not what I want. And it'll be very unsatisfied. And you'll kind of be like, that's exactly right. Because you're not meeting the craving. And then you pray. You eat your beef stick and you pray. And over time, the neuroplasticity of your brain will recognize that we might as well not even crave the donut because she's going to give us a beef stick. And we don't want that. And so it's just like these little tips that you're going to learn to not give in to the craving. It doesn't mean just water. It doesn't mean that. I mean, that is the best, good, better, best. That's amazing. When you get to the next meal, you still have like 2-3 hours to the next meal, and you get there through water and decaf coffee or tea or something. Wow, that's wonderful. But if you can't get there, try really hard to eat things that are going to satisfy the craving, because in the end, that'll get you there. Okay. Julie or Teresa, what do you think? You can just put your hand up and then talk.
Well, you mentioned what my first go-to is. Well, no, I think what helps me the most is I really was very, very faithful to the journaling. So every day I would start with my whys, and I would really have those at the forefront, and maybe it's somebody's birthday or it's something special petition, and so whenever, like, I have this, like, yearning for something, I'm like, "Nope, nope," and I try to pick up the cross and walk with that person. So that's one of the things that helped me, and then physically, I super relied on water. I read the Eat Fast Feast book, and I know he really talked about tons of water, and I really just poured myself into water, like, I just drink, and honestly, for me, physically, a lot of times that's just all my body needs is something in my stomach, and water is so healthy, and then I started to put lemon in it, so I really I mean, I drink lemon water all day long, all the time, and it just really satiates almost everything for me personally. Now, that might be different for other
Do you ever
people.
use salt? Do you ever use
I
sweet or salt?
yeah, you've mentioned that. I do that, but I don't necessarily do. I have the pink salt. I've taken every tip. I soak up everything you've said. I just don't have that around, and I don't that doesn't
Don't
I
need it.
usually would put it on something else, but yeah. Or in the water too. I just love the lemon water, and I do the black tea. And little side note, I used to drink a cinnamon tea that I loved. Like, I would drink that all the time, and I realized that there was
Mhm.
artificial flavor in it, and I really think that kicking that to the curb, like Beth said, I started to just shed pounds even more and better, and I started to realize all the little flavored waters the bubbler waters that I was drinking that didn't have any calories. I don't know, when I kick those out and I just do plain water with lemon, it really does something really amazing for me, and it takes time. You have to push through that discomfort, and that's where you go to your prayer, and that's for me, what's worked is I'm on, like, daily masses every single day that I can, and begging God to give me the grace to pick up the cross and walk with those people and focus on them and not me. And then when I do that, I just like that's when I just started seeing my life explode and my health explode. And I wasn't focusing on it. I was focusing on other people. And like Julie said, the thoughts, that is so huge. That helps with those, like, just like the minute you start to say, "Oh, I really want that. Isn't that going to be good?" And, "Oh, you really need this." And it's like, "Whoa, nope, your thoughts, you have to just catch your thoughts." It's just, whoa, I'm going to reframe. I'm not living in deprivation. I'm living in abundance. I remember one of my coaching sessions. I'm like, I love you, Beth. That's so true. I have to, the minute I start to be like, I'm deprived. I can't have this. I can't have that. Whoa, let's just shift it. And like, what can you have? Look at all these great, amazing things you can have. And then you just start to look at in other areas of your life. Like, wow, all these things I'm looking at is from a depraved state. Now I'm coaching my kids. Every time I hear my husband saying like, whoa, we need to reshift. So that thinking is so important, like Julie said.
I love that. And you know what that was from? I interviewed my brother-in-law who was on a GLP-1. And
Oh, yeah.
do you remember? And
Yes.
his comment to me was, "Beth, I cannot believe sugar has been depriving me of this beautiful life." He couldn't believe that it was sugar that was depriving him. It's not that he was deprived of sugar, it was the sugar that was depriving him
Mhm.
of this
Mhm.
wonderful life. He found that on the GLP-1. Unfortunately, he stopped the GLP-1 and has gained back weight, like a lot. So, but
Oops.
now he's going back to this program. He didn't think he could do it before. He was like, "I can't do that," because he loves his wine. He loves his wine. He, like, has a lot of wine, and I love him so much. He's the best. But that made him realize what sugar was really stealing from him. And when we say sugar, we mean sugar, white flour, wheat flour, anything but almond and coconut flour. This, like a, anything that is going to create this burst of glucose and insulin in your bloodstream. That is what causes the hunger. That's what causes the sugar burning. That's what causes the fat gain. Anyway, so, but that was actually part of it.
And the other thing you said, Beth, that really struck me that I think anybody could apply is, what is your definition of feasting? I remember the first
Mhm.
time you talked about that because it was right after Christmas and July, and then like right now in Easter season, feasting, right? And I just never thought that it could mean like feasting on a walk, feasting on conversation, feasting on relationships. And I'm like, oh, I like that. Wow. And so that concept, you don't need to feast on Culver's or you don't need to feast on whatever the other suggestion you had. I just reframed it enough and I've seen the benefits of it long enough now that I'm convinced that, yeah, that's a short term little, it's not going to last like these other great things that I really see as healthy, long term, really soul enriching feasting, I guess I would say. And I
Yeah.
still enjoy ice cream but I love it. There's a place for it. It's on Sunday or a feast day. I mean, and I love that mindset. We are not meant to be deprived. God gave us all these things. Wine is meant for celebration. It's not meant to calm you down at the end of a stressful day. It's meant for celebration. I'm like, oh, this is so true. I think we all yearn for truth. And that's what all this is. These are truths that other people have experienced that God has placed in their heart and now they're being shared. And we're just drawn to it. It's truth drawing us to Him. And it's all Him in the end. I think all the lies, we have to just cut through them and get to that truth. I don't know. I just keep coming. Fasting equals freedom. And I just
Mm.
wanna live in the truth, and that just will bring us truth, that joy that we wanna experience and share with others.
Oh, fasting equals freedom. That is the truth. Okay, Julie, chime in. Chime in. That was beautiful, Teresa. Thank you.
Yeah, that was really beautiful. Everything Teresa said was just amazing. I think for me, a lot of what she said I relate to. I drink a lot of water. I'm a kidney donor. So I have to drink a lot of water since I have one kidney left. And so that's a big part of my day. I think a tip for me was I started slow and I didn't jump in and do everything perfectly at first. One of the most profound things has been listening to the podcasts. Like you, Teresa, I found them, I began listening, and every single time I would listen to a podcast, I would learn something and my hope would rise, I said before. And it was like a whole reorienting of the way I thought about food and prayer and fasting. And so then when I started the program, and it did take me a little while to decide to start it, but once I jumped in, then you have access to all the prior coaching calls. I would say that has been absolutely key for me because attending a coaching call is wonderful. And if I can't attend, then I watch the replays. But I'm still slowly working my way through. I don't know how many coaching calls you have over the years, but I'm slowly working my way through each
Hundreds.
one. Yes,
Mhm.
hundreds. They're so worthwhile. If anybody joins and doesn't watch those, you are missing out on such rich, life changing teaching. I make time for it almost every day. I'm folding clothes, I'm doing the dishes, I'm chopping up salad, I'm riding in the car someplace. I will listen. And I said this to Beth before, but the best way I can describe it is you watch women like all of you and like me come into a coaching call, and a lot of people talk about their struggles with food or getting used to the program, but many women bring family issues or marital thoughts or, issues with their children in. And I watch Beth help them think in a new way. She never tells anybody, this is what you should do, this is what you should think. She really skillfully leads people in questions and helps them think in new ways. And so, what I said before was, I watch women like all of us go from very dark thinking, because that's why I was where I was at. I had dark and incorrect thinking about food and weight. And I watched them go from dark thinking to literally like, oh, like you can see the light come on and new ways to frame their family issues or their food issues, and that was so key for me to watch that happen, and that also, not to belabor the point, but for me, the whole brain thing was just amazing to actually learn. I've been thinking wrong about my genetics, thinking wrong about food, thinking wrong about my failures all these years, and I can change denature those really negative, strong neural pathways and build new ones. And I've watched that happen in my life. So I started slow. I would recommend that, don't be afraid to start slow and use every single tool that Beth gives you, of which there are so many. Like you, Teresa, I'm very faithful to the protocol and the journal. I write in my journal every morning. There are parts of it that I don't always fill out, but there are parts I never fail to fill out. And then part of the reason I do that is Beth told us when you write things down, you're using your prefrontal cortex. Again, a brain thing that just, I thought there's such truth in that. And so I print out a new week's worth of stuff every week and I pay attention to it. And I'm very grateful for that. So I feel like I've let you talk, Beth, but I would encourage anyone who comes in, and I would encourage everyone to do this if you're really considering it. Take advantage of every single tool that you are given because each of them is really a good, strong tool for changing the way you think, for changing the way you eat, for becoming comfortable with eating in a new way. I don't eat sugar and flour and alcohol Monday through Saturday. And if you had told me a year ago that I would be able to do that comfortably and as a way of life, I would not have believed it. But it's true. And I'm so grateful.
Oh, you're so welcome, Julie. And that is grace working in both of your
Mhm.
lives. I mean, that is what people are missing is the Jesus Christ link. Jesus Christ is King. He is our Savior. He has died and resurrected for us. And He, by the nature of our baptism, wants to give us all the grace through His Blessed Mother Mary, through all the angels and saints, through this beautiful faith that we have. And He wants to work it for us, but somehow we have this kind of self-reliance. And that is what I really coach a lot on is self-reliance. I can do it. I'm doing this on my own. You cannot do it on your own. It is not possible. You must ask the Lord to grant you the grace to desire it. Because sometimes we just want to hang on to our alcohol, our sugar, and our flour. We can't imagine not baking Christmas cookies. I mean, Christine, that was like her big thing. And it's not that you can't bake them, you can bake them. But maybe you can't bake the one that you tend to overeat. Maybe you gotta bake something else, maybe something that you're not so attached to, that you don't have associations in your past or memories, or we talk about your imagination. The Lord gave us this beautiful imagination in our memories and our associations. They're supposed to be beautiful, they're supposed to work for us, but sometimes they work against us, okay? And that's where the attachment is. And you can totally by renouncing, by prayer, by hard work and writing things down, you can detach from some of these foods that make you binge. You're like, it's not you. It's not that you're a horrible person. It's literally that somehow you're attached to a particular food. And it takes time to figure out, okay, oh, I see. I can't have that drink or I can't have that food because that makes me dump into some kind of a binge. I'm not sure why, and it is biological. So, like Diet Coke, there are additives and there are things in Diet Coke that will make you overeat like crazy. Not for everyone, for me, for sure. The natural flavorings, there's all kinds of chemicals and additives they say natural flavorings that make you hungry. So it's not that you just give it all up at once. You have to kind of step into it and you're noticing this about yourself. It's the great experiment. You're like, oh my gosh, I just had that LaCroix and all of a sudden I'm just super hungry. What's happening there? And then you come and you can get coached on it and we're trying to figure out these patterns. Everybody is different. So thank you, Julie, it's absolutely beautiful. And the coaching, even the replays are just amazing to watch. And I thank everyone for getting coached. Not everybody gets coached. Julie, I don't think you really got coached until the very end, I believe. I think very end, you just watched everyone else. But thanks for that's wonderful. So you don't have to get coached. You can come in and you can show up and listen and you can put in the chat because we're always talking in the chat and all of that. You can put that in. You can talk on KFAM. You can do all of that. Teresa got coached quite a bit. All our personalities are different. I get coached all the time. I'll be in a group and I'm in several groups. I get coached quite a bit. It doesn't bother me. Our personalities are all different, right? So that just depends on you. But remember, I just want you to know, I'm going to read this. Gluttony is just an expression of a deeper root. So when you're stuck in gluttony and you're stuck in this vice, and it can be in our DNA, it can be something we've learned. It's an expression of a deeper root. I often say that overeating is really equal to underfeeling. You're not allowing yourself to feel the feeling.
Mhm.
And usually that's something hard. And I will tell you, like, even when I was putting this webinar together, like last week and then early this week, I was thinking of something new, and all of a sudden it's gonna be a little hard. All of a sudden I wanted something to get me through it. I wanted some kind of food to get me, just my brain, just to get through there. Nope, 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 nope. Just plain water, plain water. I caught it, and then I was much more able to get the job done because, I was creating ketones and I was like, okay, I'm much clearer in my head, much clearer in my thinking. I was a little hungry, and that's the best. That's the best way. It's the best way to think. Not when you're super hungry, not when you're -5, not when you're dying, but when you're just, I had about an hour or two before my meal. So I was like, I can do this. I can totally do this. I can totally get this done without a thing. We do hard things in Delay and Pray. So I do want to make sure if anyone has any questions, I want to for sure please come out. This is what this is for. They're here to answer a question. Peg says, I want to know about fruit. Is that counted as sugar to give up? I love fruit, and next to chocolate, that will be hardest to give up. All right. So I'm going to let the gals answer that. I don't eat a lot of fruit. I have berries as a feast on the weekends. But I've kicked sugar, so it's an easy one. Alcohol and sugar, probably the easiest for me. White flour with pizza comes next. Pizza is the hardest for me. But anyway, I'll let you guys talk. Julie, you wanna go first?
Yeah, I will say that I love fruit too. I love watermelon. I ate an apple a day before I started this. I love all kinds of berries. I do adult foster care for women with developmental disabilities, and one of the ones that I cared for years had diabetes. So I learned to count carbs for her, and I learned that eating an apple will raise your blood sugar almost as quickly as if you have a Hershey bar. And that was an education for me as a care provider. And then I watched her have rice, even just a quarter cup of rice, and it would raise her blood sugar as much as a brownie. So when I learned that I was insulin resistant and that probably my whole family had been insulin resistant, I learned that even when you have fruit, it will raise your blood sugar, which causes an insulin response, and insulin helps you pack on the fat. I knew that I was an efficient fat storer for decades. So I don't eat fruit Monday through Saturday, but I didn't do that right away. I did what I could learn to do right away. I decided I would not let myself be overwhelmed. So I probably still had my apple and a piece of cheese early on,
Mm,
but the grace comes as you commit yourself to it. And the tools that we are provided with are really remarkable. And so slowly by slowly, I would stop eating as much fruit as I did. And because I don't have any pain now, because my inflammation seems to be gone, because I'm losing weight, and because I feel so much better, it seems like a really good exchange to
mhm.
not have fruit compared to all that I have gained. So for me, I don't have fruit, but I know it's because it causes an insulin response.
So true, Julie. And before Teresa goes, I also want to tell you one of the things you can do right away is the order of eating. So if you're going to have the fruit, count it as a sugar dessert. So that means you're going to eat your vegetables first to put that kind of a lattice system through your GI. Then you're going to have like, your protein and vegetables and then at the end is when you add your starch or your dessert. And that's going to help a little bit of the insulin response, but if you wanna feel really good, you want your inflammation to come down, you have insulin resistance, yeah, you just wanna make it as small as possible in order.
And to piggyback on what you just said, Beth, caring for my gal with diabetes, I could see that if she ate protein first and then added something with carbs, that her blood sugar and therefore insulin, well, she had a lack of insulin response, but her blood sugar would spike a lot less than if
Mhm.
she just had something carby, like a piece of toast or something like
Right,
that without the protein. So
right.
it kind of speaks to what you just said.
Mhm. Alright, Teresa, thank you, Julie.
I don't have much to add. I think Julie did an amazing job explaining. I would have said the exact same thing. I didn't have the adult foster care, but I've kind of moved to the same thing where I have berries on the weekends. Occasionally, for our feast day, it would be something like berries or with cheese, something where you always do the protein or something else first. But again, because I made the jump and I just decided that I used to love watermelon too. Occasionally that's a feast in the summer on the weekend, but the trade-off is just so amazing. Like I don't crave it like I used to just because I decided that no, I worked so hard. I don't wanna go backwards by giving into this right now. I can wait, it's again, I offer it up. I'm blessing somebody else. I'm also being blessed because I'm losing weight and I have more energy and my mind is clear. All the things to keep yourself in ketosis is so that reward, that feedback system, that positive feedback system, I wanna stay in that, and if I give in and over time, it gets easier. It's harder at the beginning, but making little steps where you just have it less and less and less and less, and you tape yourself off if that's what you need to do. I think but you're not giving it up permanently. It's something on the weekend. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
mhm.
People have their thing. People have their oatmeal is very high glycemic. People are like, well, wait, I thought it was healthy. Wait, I thought fruit was healthy. You look into this. Our bodies are the great experiment, which actually leads me to the next question. Does weight loss happen automatically? What if I want to get off sweets, but I'm not overweight? My sister is tiny. She beat her lupus by doing delay and pray. Okay, so she's tiny and she makes her own bread for the weekends. She just loves delay and pray, and she's tiny and she never needed to lose weight at all. Okay, so she just is a great experiment. She just, eats differently, right? But she doesn't have sugar. Nobody needs sugar. Nobody needs sugar. I think I told you yesterday, my almost 3-year-old granddaughter does not eat very much sugar. And at Easter, she'll open an egg, she'll look at the candy, she'll bite it, and she'll be like a Reese's, and she'll be like, I don't want that. And it's like, wow, you know? So why don't we start them little? Like nobody needs sugar. I'm sorry, nobody does. So it is just a very interesting thing. You can do it when you're pregnant. You can do it, when you're old, when you're young, like, whatever. So Maggie, it's the great experiment. But to get off sweets and to get more into protein and fats, really good, healthy fats, and like make your own pizza crust is what I do with almond flour. I'm getting very used to that. But I love that makes my once a month pizza is what I do. We have this pizza place and it just makes it like, like it's so good. So anyway, but again, I also am very, very selfish. I want my husband to live a really long time and the men in his family don't. And so I'm like, no, 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 2 pieces of pizza for you, sir. And he doesn't mind my almond flour, coconut flour pizza. He doesn't mind because I'm trying to make him live. Okay. So that's what I want to do. Okay, so let's see. We've got Sarah. Sarah says, are there grains that are all right? Quinoa, oatmeal. Yes, quinoa, no oatmeal. Oatmeal on the weekends. Quinoa, yes, small amounts, half a cup. That's why you want to write it down, right? That's why you want to write it down in your protocol. Sometimes you want to write some measurements because if you go to the scale and you're having a couple cups of quinoa, then you're like, what's happening? Well, you're too much quinoa. It's got to, small amounts of everything. What do you guys have to say about that?
I will just say too, to go back to taking care of someone with diabetes, that I was shocked at how much her blood sugar would skyrocket when she just had simple oatmeal for breakfast.
Oatmeal.
So I was being prepared even back then to realize that there are a lot of healthy things that cause a very extreme, insulin response. And so, yeah, I
My
don't.
mother-in-law cut out oatmeal and because she read my book and she's like, oh, and she's 86 and she immediately started feeling better. She had less heartburn and she's lost a few pounds, which, she's very vibrant. She's going to live till 100, I swear to you. So oatmeal is a misnomer. It's a marketing gimmick. So Teresa, anything on that one?
The question was, what was the
Actually,
I had that
Teresa, it was about oatmeal, but I think you could maybe answer this next one a little bit better.
okay.
Question is, what do you do when your husband and family doesn't want to give up flour products, pasta, casseroles? You have such a big family. Did you run into any of that or do you have any advice for that?
Well, I was a little bit fortunate where my husband is actually the person that got me into keto thinking, and I think one thing I was gonna say, I think now that it jogged my mind is I read a book called Life in the Fasting Lane, and it talks about how anytime you're thinking about eating, you have to challenge yourself, like, just eat to enough. Like, your regular, like, norm is, I don't need to eat. And then if you're gonna take something in, you're very cautious about what it is and how much you're putting in your body. Because really, the only thing our food is meant to do is to nourish ourselves and to give our brain energy in order to think and function and do your mission in life. So that mindset shift helped me. When it comes to my family, I've just slowly, I love the whole good, better, best concept. I've used that with my family, and I sat down with them and I said, okay, I know everybody wants me to be happy. We want to have a home that's peaceful. I don't want to be hangry. All these things. So I'm going to start implementing things in my family's life, small changes, shifting. Like, I would not just buy, I mean, I never used to buy white bread, but I really wouldn't. I wouldn't even buy very much bread at all. I'd be like, that's really not healthy for you. That's not a good way to start the day. I didn't buy, I stopped buying sugar cereals. I was like focused more on, for them, like more whole grain things and in small amounts. I focused on eggs because I was eating eggs, so I was like tons of eggs, eggs. We have chicken, so it was shifting. And I think, again, I don't live in deprivation, live in abundance. We have all these good things, and when you start making things and like presenting avocados and guacamole and eggs with sour cream on it, it's so good. It's like when you just like shift their taste along with yours and you make it exciting and like a fun experiment for everybody, you're not dragging them along as much, and it's easier for you if it's a whole lifestyle shift for everybody. And again, some people are quicker and slower, and if they're gonna get things, they know that I'm not gonna buy certain things, so they'll get it, at youth group or doing it somewhere else.
Yeah,
But
that's what I was gonna say is I just said my husband really wasn't with me when I started with this. And so I said, "Hey, you have lunch, we'll do these keto dinner." We've been on keto before, so he knew what that was as well. But, he's slim, he's a fit guy, and I would say, "You just go out to lunch. Just go out to lunch," like, 'cause he works. And so he said, "Okay," and he would. And then after a while, he's like, "It makes me feel terrible. Why, this makes me feel terrible." And I was like, "I'm feeling so good?" And so then he came along and now he has a chicken salad or tuna fish salad because it's Wednesday today. One of the 2 every single day, same thing. They make fun of him at work. He doesn't care because it makes him feel so good. It's so nourishing.
Mhm.
So
And it
that's big.
satiates you because that's the cool thing is that, like, my kids, like, their snack they make tuna fish, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, thank you, Jesus." I mean, so you just you're full and you're not looking for more and more, more and more. It really is a major lifestyle shift that is, it's so worth all the effort and the tears that go along with it, but it's
Yeah,
well
and
well worth.
let him know that you're doing this for him. I want my husband to live a long, healthy life. And the Lord will also do his mighty work because you're fasting for your husband. So all of a sudden, things will be changing. And you'll be like, oh my gosh, don't forget about the spiritual realm because that's the thought model. We talk about what is the holy opportunity in the circumstance that your reality of the day, that's your circumstance, what's happening to you during the day. These are facts. And then you get to decide what you think about it. But you're training your brain to think about it in the way of a holy opportunity that the Lord is presenting to you. And when you think about it that way, so that he can do his mighty work, not only in you, but in your husband and your family as well. When you start to think about it that way, then you're like, okay, wait. Okay, wait. This isn't just about what I can see, right? It's the spiritual realm that's working and begins with us women, just begins with us.
And that example, I found that example, Beth, like you just described, you're praying and sacrificing with your whole body, with your fasting and your prayer, and you're doing it for them. And then you start to come alive, and people are like, wow, what are you doing? Like, I want that. So your family, I mean, I feel like you naturally draw people towards it instead of the nagging and like again, deprivation. You
You're
can't
too
have this,
kind
you
of
can't have
quiet.
that. It's a very beautiful witness that, I mean, and it doesn't just affect your family, it's your community. I mean, I don't know how many people have now are doing Delay and Pray and want the book and wanna know what happened in my life and all these things. Like, it's amazing how God works through us when we really say yes to him.
Yes, and spiritual fasting is an ancient art. We were all meant to spiritually fast. I mean, I hate to say it, but during the Final Four of the college NCAA men's tournament of basketball, they highlighted a Muslim guy who was fasting, and they did this whole thing about him not being able to have water or food until sundown, from sunup to sundown. And I thought, oh,
is there a nice Catholic boy who does spiritual fasting and it's Wednesday and he can't eat meat and he's only eating one meal? I mean, is there no college in all these Catholic colleges? Is there no Catholics? Like, hello, here's my, oh, I wear a scapular and, I love Jesus. And I mean, I say my rosary and I don't know. I was just like, okay. So they have a corner on fasting, the Muslims, and I was like, "That's good, though." I mean, they're really serious about it. I want Catholics to be really serious about it. I want to compete myself. So anyway, Julie, what do you have to say?
And what I'd like to just add, I loved what Teresa said about it being a witness. And as I'm probably one of the older ones here, I'll be 69 in a couple of months. I have grandchildren that I love so deeply and pray for them so faithfully as God helps me. And I began to think about my legacy. And not that I want this big, huge thing where everyone's paying attention to me, but I want the last years of my life, what I leave for them to think about of being a grandma who fasted and prayed for them, not of a grandma who didn't partake in things because she was too overweight or too tired or her knees were hurting her. And I mean, I know they would love me anyway, but my whole focus shifted on what I wanted to leave for them. And I tell all of them, I'm fasting and praying for you today. And I want that to be my legacy. And this is part of it.
I love that. I love that. And don't forget to engage. We talk about it, your guardian angel. So, angel of God, my guardian dear, make sure you know that prayer. And also, guardian angel, obtain the graces for me to fast today. Always, always carrying your guardian angel with you. She's with you anyway, but just being really attuned to the spiritual realm every single day. A favorite saint, Saint Therese, just all of it. Like, just involve yourself in it. Lynn asks, can you have Diet Pepsi when fasting? Oh my gosh, when I started, that's what I did, the diet pop instead of alcohol. I just had to do that, but now I do not. But you know what, Lynn? It's the good, better, best. To get to the water of Teresa and Julie, you may have to do the diet Pepsi as the good. I will tell you though, it will make you hungry. So I mean, it'll kind of reverse effect, even though it has 0 calories, but maybe keep it small. Also, the cost of the Keep Fasting membership is $400 for a lifetime or $49 a month. So that's how that goes when after you join. You have to go through Delay and Pray, join the $1,000 course first. There's a $100 coupon out there right now. We still have a few spots left for the workbook, the free printed workbook going to your door. Also, I wanted to show you guys, and Teresa and Julie, we're going to send you some merch for being here. I have the new quarter zip that I'm wearing here, and I have this cute little hat. I wear hats during pickleball, but not normally on an everyday basis. Or I have an apron. This is the Delay and Pray. It's the white apron. And so this is going to be available at the end of the month if we can get it up there. But we have finally, and then I have a sweatshirt that's really cute. And this one says, it's a good day to delay and pray. I know it's an extra large. It's pretty big. But anyway, email us and let us know which one you want us to send, and we'll send it to you before it's available to others. So we just have a few more here. What effect does caffeine have on hunger? I love my coffee. Oh my gosh, Judith, I love my coffee. Okay. I drink decaf all day. It literally is a GLP-1. It'll help you. Black tea is the same. Caffeine, some people can take it, some people can't. Caffeine has no effect as far as I know, and I drink a lot of coffee. So the books will say differing things, but I don't know if Teresa or Julie have anything to say about that, but it doesn't bother me at all.
I love my coffee.
Okay, awesome.
I'm a tea girl. I love it too.
Everyone says thank you, thank you, thank you. Pam says on days that you do eat but have an eating window, such as intermittent fasting, that's what it is. Is it possible to have the window be from the morning to and including lunch and then to cease eating around 3? Yes, it's the best thing. If you want to lose weight a little quicker, move your eating window towards sunrise. That's a Dr. Boz thing. So a lot of people have it at night because they like to have dinner with their husband and family. But if you're like me and my husband gets home late anyway, like sometimes 6:37, and he's fine with me just sitting there with my beautiful holy water that I drink. It's just water, but I call it holy water. And I sit there with him and I move my window when I was really trying to lose the last 8 pounds. I was like struggling with this last 8 pounds. I moved my eating window towards sunrise. So did Christine. And we saw big results on that. Let's see. I'm asking because of being diagnosed with low thyroid and adrenal fatigue and having received recommendations of eating with 1 hour of waking. Yeah. Yeah. Try it. Try it. She said, thank you. That is super helpful. I love this body of experiment. And let me tell you, I have somebody really close to me who's struggling with something, has nothing to do with food, nothing. And I started to fast and pray for him and ask the Lord to give me direction. And I was coaching this morning on something totally different. And what the person actually gave me was the answer to this other person's problem that I'm now going to be like, thank you, Jesus. He was working through this coach. It's something like totally unrelated. So don't forget that when you pray and fast, you're going to receive the graces and the spiritual realm will be working in your favor to get you answers through different people, the most unreal people. You'll get miracles that you'll be like, "Oh my gosh, that is crazy that just happened." Okay, so just know that you're going to get answers to your low thyroid, like what you need to do. Just pray about it. Lord, show me what I need to do. Who do I need to talk to? What do I need to read? Books will show up, just like Teresa's talking about all these books she's reading. Books will show up. You'll be able to go through and say, I'm not sure about that, but ooh, this. Okay, so that's really good too. I don't want to keep you guys too long. One more question here. Do you help with ideas for replacement foods to get the nutrients that are in fruits if you choose? Oh, yeah. We have tons of ideas. In fact, Christine, on her examine nights, especially on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m., she will help you completely put together a food protocol and your model. Like she'll help you figure everything out if you so want to join her at 8 p.m. East on those nights. I'm particularly coaching, and then she does that, and she is very, very helpful with how do I use the tools or technical things like setting up a Facebook page, some kind of a ticket if you can't figure out your credentials to get into the portals. We share all that. So I think we have one more. Oh, thank you so much. I love the fasting and miracle connection. Thanks be to God. Thank you for everyone coming. I think we answered all of the questions. Christine's been putting the code on. Like I said, come join us. It's so much fun. It's only getting more fun. I mean, merchandise, really, this is so much fun. I wore this to my daughters and she was like, it was my son-in-law actually who said, oh my gosh, you have merch. You got merch on, Beth. And I was like, yeah, I think we made it. So anyway, it's just fun trying to get things out there. It's slow, but it's beautiful to have a Catholic business and we just want to spread the word. And I know we didn't talk about investment, but I know Julie and Teresa that the investment was worth it. I guess we can just end on that note if one of you want to talk about that. And we'll just end there.
Well, I'll just quick say, I know it looks like you want to say something too, but I mentioned to Beth and Christine on my survey at the end of my 10 weeks that I did have the $1,000, but if I had not had the $1,000, I would have found it. I would have put it on a credit card. I would have borrowed it from somebody. To say that that $1,000 seems like almost pittance compared to what I've learned and what I've gained and what I've saved. What I've saved in food is nothing. So to me, it was like an investment in my future, my health, my grandchildren, my children, my friends. That $1,000 was a small but huge yielding investment for me.
I agree completely. I think that a big family working for Catholic tuition and all these kinds of things, it was hard, but I had that little bump with my Christmas money that helped it. And to look at the big picture of, less health problems, more ability to do things, less food bills, the counseling that you don't need, the way you think and you produce more, the ideas and the miracles, like you could never, ever. It's just exponential. It's like you said, it's like nothing, honestly. So one of the best investments ever. And you can pay it over time. You don't have to come up with it all at once. That's the way it used to be anyways. I don't know how they're working it
It
now,
is.
but I would never look back or think twice about it, and I would encourage anybody to do it. It's an investment in yourself, which is going to pay dividends. And actually, it's really to the Lord. It's like if you could consider it even tithing, it's giving back to the Lord for all He's given you, and it's a way to have Him speak through Beth and through all the different people and all the experiences and just the true miracles and everything that Beth is describing. It is real, and there is hope. God wants to be transformed by the renewal of your mind. That scripture over and over and over. He's going to
Romans
transform
12.
you. It's transformation. You're paying for a transformation that is
Right.
lifelong and complete.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Teresa. Everyone that's on the call or will watch the replay, email us. Just when we send you the replay, press return, ask us any questions. We'd be glad to answer them for you. But I'm telling you, it's wonderful. So Julie and Teresa, let us know. Do you want the hat? Do you want the sweatshirt? Or do you want the apron? Or this one is a men's. That's the problem with that. We have to turn it over to women. So if you want the men's, I mean, I tuck it in. It's, but if you want one of these three, these are more for women, let me know. And Christine and I get on it and send it right over to you. So, all right, everyone. God bless you. I can't wait for you to get into the course. And also, so you can meet Julie and Teresa. They're on the K-Fam all the time. So you can actually meet them and say hi. All right, everyone. God bless. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
If you are interested in learning more about spiritual fasting and permanent weight loss, then come join my course, Delay and Pray, a guided course for weight loss through spiritual fasting. You won't go through it alone either. I will be there to coach you every step of the way. This is a group coaching program where you are part of an amazing community of like-minded Catholics who have the same goal as you, to bring about miracles while losing that weight permanently through spiritual fasting. Your purchase includes an online course detailing what spiritual fasting is, how to do it, and all the tools you need to get you the results you're longing for. Head over to my website right now at thecatholicfastingcoach.com and get the details on how to join. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and LinkedIn to always get the latest daily information to help you keep fasting, my friends. Can't wait to see you in there. May God bless you and keep you always.